All right, let's get into it. Today, we're diving deep into the Commercial Driver's Manual, focusing on two things every school bus driver has to master: your anti-lock brakes and some really critical safety procedures you'll face out on the road.
So let's start with a quick thought experiment. You're driving, the road is slick, maybe it's raining, maybe it's icy, and you have to slam on the brakes. Your wheels lock up solid. What happens next? You know that awful feeling, right? That moment you lose steering and the whole bus starts to skid? That exact scenario is what we're going to talk about preventing. And the key to preventing it brings us to our first topic: anti-lock brakes. This is all about the technology that's designed to keep you in control of that massive vehicle, especially when things get hairy. So what exactly is ABS? Well, at its heart, it's a safety system with one very specific job: to keep the wheels from locking up when you brake hard. See, as long as your wheels are still turning, you can still steer. And being able to steer while braking, well, that's everything when it comes to avoiding a crash. This right here shows you the night and day difference. In a vehicle without ABS, you hit the brakes hard, the wheels lock, and suddenly you're just a passenger in a skidding vehicle. But with ABS, the system keeps the wheels rotating just enough. And here's the magic: you can stomp on that brake pedal as hard as you need to and still steer around whatever's in front of you. That is a total game changer.
Okay, if you only remember one thing from this section, make it this. In an emergency, in a bus with ABS, you need to press the brake pedal down hard and hold it there. Firm, steady pressure. Whatever you do, do not pump the brakes. That's an old habit from before ABS was common, and now it actually fights against the system. Just press down and let the computer do its thing.
So how do you know your ABS is even working? Well, you've got that little yellow ABS light on your dashboard. When you start the bus, it should light up for a second and then turn off. If that light stays on while you're driving, that's a warning. It means your ABS isn't working. Now, the good news is your regular brakes are still fine, but you've lost that anti-lock safety net, so you need to get it looked at as soon as you can.
Now, it's awesome technology for sure, but it's just as crucial to understand what ABS can't do. There are a lot of myths out there, and believing them can get you into a whole lot of trouble. So let's get real about the limitations.
Let's just bust these myths right now. First off, ABS does not guarantee you'll stop in a shorter distance. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. It also doesn't make your brakes any stronger, and it's definitely not a magic pass to drive faster or take turns harder. And, maybe most importantly, if your brakes are worn out or poorly maintained, ABS can't fix that. Think of ABS as a tool for maintaining control, not as some kind of performance upgrade.
Okay, let's shift gears now. We're moving from the tech inside the bus to a really critical driving maneuver: backing up. The CDL manual could not be more clear about this. Backing a school bus is incredibly dangerous, especially with kids around. And this quote pretty much says it all. Notice the wording. It's not "be careful when backing." It's "strongly discouraged." That's about as blunt as a training manual gets. The absolute safest way to back up is to plan your route so you never have to do it in the first place. That should always be your goal. But look, sometimes it's unavoidable. And if you absolutely must back up, there is a strict step-by-step procedure. First, the timing is key. Always pick students up before you back up and drop them off after you're done. That way they're safely on the bus. Second, post a lookout. If nobody's there to help, you have to get out of your seat, walk to the back of the bus, and check the area yourself. And if you get out, take the keys with you, every single time. Finally, before you move, get the bus quiet, turn on your hazard lights, and keep your eyes moving between all of your mirrors. No exceptions.
All right, let's move on to other hazards you'll run into out there, the kind of unpredictable stuff that can pop up on any given day.
You know, a school bus is basically a giant box on wheels, and when the wind gets really strong, the side of that bus acts just like a sail. You can literally feel it pushing you around. The advice from the manual is simple: slow down. The slower you go, the less effect the wind has. And if it gets really bad, don't be a hero. Just find a safe place to pull over and wait it out.
Of course, not all hazards are outside the bus. A major distraction can be happening right behind you. Your number one job is to drive the bus safely, and you can't let student behavior get in the way of that. The protocol is clear. First, you remind the students of the rules. If that doesn't work and the situation is getting unsafe, your next call is to an administrator or, in serious cases, the police. And remember, you can never just put a student off the bus somewhere other than their stop or the school.
So, what's the deal with that flashing white strobe light you see on top of school buses? It has one simple purpose: to make you more visible. In bad weather, think fog, heavy rain, snow, that light cuts through the gloom and helps other drivers see you. But here's the key thing to remember. While you're required to use it, that light is not a stop sign. It does not legally require other cars to stop for you. So, we've talked about all this tech, all these procedures, and it all comes down to this one powerful idea. This is the core philosophy. The real mark of a professional isn't just knowing how to react in a crisis. It's about developing the awareness and the defensive driving skills to see trouble coming a mile away and avoid it completely. Your goal is to drive in a way that you never even need these emergency systems. So I'll leave you with this. How does that one sentence, "drive so you never need to," change how you approach your next trip?